Next this lunchtime, pupils at a Hampshire school have joined residents to hold a protest this morning against plans for a quarrying site nearby.
Stay on school! No to the quarry! Stay on school! No to the quarry!
How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another video. Now, I know it's been a while since I've been on the channel, and I know I haven't been out doing explores and stuff, but this was part of the reason why I wanted to start this channel differently this year. Now, if you haven't seen, I've split the channel videos into 3 series. Now, one of those is the abandoned stuff, one of those is the podcast, which I've been doing regularly, and the other one is like travel and adventure. Now, the reason we're doing this is because the exploring, although it's amazing, I love doing it, it's one of those things that you have to do with others, and I'm finding as the years have gone on, it's harder and harder to get people to go out with you. Like, for example, right now, Colin is in another country, I'm not even sure which country, and nobody else is around me who does exploring really. Neil doesn't really do it, Oscar doesn't really do it very often, Ant's moved up north. It's very difficult to get somebody to go with, and it's something you can't really do on your own for safety reasons. I know that lots of people do, but they're usually people that drive and have lots of independence, don't have to work and stuff. I don't drive, have to work, etc. So I can only fit it in on certain days. So I wanted to do a series that basically I could do by myself. And you might have seen on Instagram as well recently that I got a new e-scooter. And this is part of the reason for getting that. I want to get an e-bike as well at some point and basically start doing a bit of travel, adventure and stuff around the country, doing different trips. Today we're going to be doing a local one though. So there is a local old airfield near where I live, and it is a massive empty space, and it has been a massive empty space for a very, very long time. But there is some incredible history there that I want to talk about in today's video. But the reason this has become a thing that I want to talk about today is because very soon that could potentially be turned into a quarry in my local area. And a lot of people are not happy about this at all. In the area that I live, there is one road in and one road out, and pretty much that's it. And it's already congested all the time. And a lot of people complaining about the fact that they have a quarry and there are lots of trucks with stone or whatever it is that they're digging up. It's going to cause many, many issues. So I thought today, we'll take the e-scooter out, go for a bit of a ride, go around the location, film it from above as well, take the drone above. But there's also supposed to be a protest planned today at 10:30. So if we can get some shots of that, because it's a local school and that's a bit iffy filming kids and stuff, but we'll see. If they're on a public highway, then technically it's okay. We'll see how we get on. But I'll try and get a bit of film from that. And also some of these site surveyors are supposed to be turning up as well today. So that's the other reason why the protest is going on, because they're going past at the time. So I'm just going to go down there. We're going to film some bits. I'm going to talk about the history, and then we're going to see what we can capture in terms of the protest. And I'll talk a bit about the details of that as well. So that's the plan for today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get going now. So hopefully you can hear me. So today is the 29th of April, and we've got about 2 hours till the protest happens. So I'm going to go down to the site first of all, film some bits, get the drone in the air, because again it's looking quite gusty later on, so I don't think I can get the drone in the air while the protest is going on. We'll have to wait and see. And we'll go from there. I'll talk about a bit of the history and things and tell you guys about the site. Mass loads of history there, absolute mass loads of history. It was a working airfield during World War II, and yeah, it's been pretty much abandoned since then. It's abandoned, it is literally just an old field. And we used to walk through as kids when I was at school. As you can see, this is rush hour or congestion down this road. This is the road they're talking about, having these trucks go down. There we go, look. There's a sign over there. Hamble Airfield is the wrong place for a quarry. And that's what we're here for today. I'm guessing that might be where the protest might be happening. I thought it was going to be further down, but since they've got a big sign there, it's probably going to be there. Yes, I just want to go back up here because there's a sign out here as well, and I couldn't really get to it up on the opposite side of the road, so this one you'll be able to see it better. Where's he gone? Oh, it's here, from the trees. So this is the reason why we're here today. Obviously this sign's been put up outside the school. I'm not sure if this is where the protest's happening or whether it's happening at the front, because there's another sign here as well, but it says your village, your future, Hampshire County Council, decision on the 15th of May, say no to urban quarry. And this is what we're here to talk about today, because we're literally next to a school where behind it on the other side, that is where the quarry itself is planned to be, so very, very close to where this school is. And you've seen this morning how busy this road is. It's very, very busy along here, and also the main road it's very, very busy. And this is kind of the point, because it's not the greatest place, because there's no road access to get to and from, and they're wanting to have giant trucks coming in and out, and it's already congested as anything, without doing any kind of like extra roads in and out the place. Anyway, let's go and check out the actual quarry. So let me start by saying that I researched this for quite a long time, and at first I couldn't find many details about the site itself, not in like a timeline order anyway. Most of the details I was finding were certain parts of the history and not an entire history. So I've had to dig deep, and I did manage to find quite a lot of information in the end. So if you are interested in finding out more details, specific details, because I don't want to waffle on too much and this sound a bit like a list. So if you want to find out the very nitty gritties, please check out all the links in the description, which are the sources for how I found this information. As with the videos like this, like the one I made on the abandoned remote control car track, and years ago on the Grey Lady in Netley, the purpose of these videos is to try and pull all of the information into one place, saving you having to hunt around and find stuff yourself. Especially when a lot of these websites you find the information on are these obscure, hard to find websites from the early 2000s. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get on with the history. So the first thing to know about this site is the bit we're going to talk about right now is known as the North Airfield, and is only a small part of the main site. The land itself was purchased by a company called AV Row back in 1916, and the site stretched all the way from Hamble School and down towards the main seafront as well. They in fact had plans for a much bigger site with some 350 houses for their workforce. However, unfortunately, only 24 houses were completed when the government restrictions of building materials came into effect, preventing further developments, and the plans for the site had to change. So instead, they decided that this location would be better suited for a place where they could design and test experimental ideas on their aircraft. After all, things were going well, World War I was on, and their orders were very much up. This, however, would be short-lived as World War I ended, and a lot of their orders dried up or got cancelled. This forced the company to make cutbacks, as with many aircraft manufacturers throughout the country. Hamble, however, remained mostly as it was, still testing and developing experimental aircraft. In fact, part of me wonders how the company would have actually managed to carry on if they had in fact managed to get 350 houses for their workforce in place. I think it's only due to the fact that they only had 24 houses in the end that actually they didn't need to cut back much. In 1928, Elliot Verdon Rowe, who was the owner of the company, hence AV Rowe, sold his interests in the company and joined up with Sam Saunders to form Saunders Rowe Limited, a different company that was based on the Isle of Wight and specialised in flying boats. Elliot himself continued to live in the area. However, the company AV Rowe severely scaled back after Elliot's departure and gradually moved their production back to Manchester. And in fact, by 1932, nothing remained of AV Rowe in Hamble. After 1932, the factory was mainly on a care and maintenance system and became the responsibility of the Air Service Training, or AST. Due to having a slipway as part of the South Airfield, it accommodated the AST's amphibian planes and float planes. This gave them perfect access into Southampton water. However, this would be short-lived, as in 1933 all flying on the South Airfield ceased, Just to make the point, the South Airfield is actually not the place we're talking about today, that's the North Airfield. I'll show on screen the two airfields and where they were located. Some of the land for the South Airfield was purchased by Shell Max and BP Oil, and after the Second World War they in fact purchased even more land, and BP Oil still stand there today. After this was sold, the north side of the site continued to develop, build and test aircraft. In fact, during the war the site was used to repair and modify Spitfires. During this time, as you can imagine, as it was during wartime, a lot of the developments here were top secret in nature, and due to this fact it must have been extremely embarrassing when in January 1943 a flying fortress taxiing from the factory to the airfield, which required it crossing a public road, got stuck. And you can imagine it must have been even more embarrassing because it had just been fitted with top secret submarine detecting equipment, and now it was stuck in a public road for all the world to see. The site continued this way for many years until about 1960 when the air service training closed. There are quite a few things that happened during this time. I've just already jumped from about the 1940s to 1960. However, without wanting this history to sound like a complete list, there is a lot more information in those links down below, so if you want to check that out, including a very detailed event-by-event timeline with other interesting details, just like this plane getting stuck, then please check out the links down below. Between the 1960s and 1984, the site was pretty much on a wind down. It got to the point where the airfield became an unlicensed site, and it was forced to close and go into receivership in 1984, with the site and equipment being sold at auction. Throughout these years, the site was also used for many flying schools and other organisations, but in 1986, pretty much all of the flying on this site had completely ended, and it unfortunately sat empty, unused, unloved and abandoned for many years. Now, I'm sure if you dig into the history for yourself, you'll find many other small details, but like I said, I don't want this to drag on for ages, so if you are interested, please do check out the links in the description. As for how the plans for the quarry came about, the former airfield was allocated for gravel extraction under Hampshire's mineral plan, and Cemex, the company wanting to dig that site, submitted plans to use the site to extract sand and gravel for 7 years, before spending another 6 years filling the site back in. Interestingly enough, I found a statement on their website from February 22, which stated, "The environmental and amenity impacts of the proposals for Hamble Airfield have been assessed in detail, and the application demonstrates there will not be any unacceptable impacts on the local community." Based on today, and I'm sure you'll see in the video, I'm not sure that the locals would agree, with many of their concerns obviously being that the school is less than 50 metres away from the active quarry, and lots of people saying you wouldn't build a school next to a quarry, so why would you build a quarry next to a school? Not to mention things like people with asthma, having lots of dust in the area, the infrastructure on the roads is just not good enough. It's already a busy and congested place, and this is just going to add to it with more big trucks going up and down. Safety concerns outside of school. I know I went to the school when I was a kid, and the school itself has had lots of things like children getting hit on the road because it's a very busy road outside. In fact, I remember when I was there, a child getting hit by an ambulance, which I suppose you could say is probably the best thing. If you want to get hit by something, that's probably the best thing. But even so, there are so many accidents outside that road. Why would you want to put like tons and tons of concrete and truck going up and down that road where there's already so many accidents and the infrastructure is not there? It's busy, blocked road at the best of times. Plans I did see said that apparently they won't be using Satchel Lane, which is the bit that goes all the way around the back of the school. Whether they'll continue to stick to that when they realise how blocked in they're going to be with traffic, I don't know. But the infrastructure for that road is definitely not there. That road is so bad. I mean, you'll see when I'm riding my scooter on this video, I'm bumping up and down because the road surface is terrible. It's falling to pieces, there's chunks out of it. It's just not the right place for a quarry. I know it's a giant, big, unused place, but there's so many other things you could use this site for. A quarry is not the right idea. But anyway, the final decision for this site is due to be made on the 15th of May 2024, so if you are interested in attending and making your voice heard, please see the information displayed on screen. But for now, thank you for listening, and back to the video. Okay, so we just stopped off at Hamble for a bit of a bite to eat and a bit of a drink, and I'm just charging up the scooter before we get going. We've got about half an hour before the protest starts, so we're going to just head on down there slowly and just see what happens. I really don't know what to expect, but we'll just play it by ear. Let's go.
Take a number, take in a name. If you're cold at the door, and welcome to the game. Taking over, taking the blame. We all make it out without going insane. I want something to live for.
That's where the protest is happening, is it?
Yeah.
I'm doing a YouTube video on the airfield, and I was wondering if you'd mind if I just take a camera over there, basically, to sort of watch what we're doing. I don't want to get faces and stuff like that, but
all of our kids that are going to be out here have got photo permissions. And
excellent, awesome.
Yeah, if you could be the other side.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I was literally going to by the bridge, by the edge of the bridge there.
Yeah, of course.
And the government exec panel, whatever, are coming down on the minibus.
Yes, okay.
Down this way, so
that's 10:30, isn't it?
Yes,
is that right?
Yeah. Between 10:30 and 11.
Right.
So long as they come this way.
So what's happening with, because they've got a meeting at some point, haven't they, to discuss whether they want to go for this? Like, is today like a recce there?
Yeah, it's the thing where they stop off at Tesco's apparently, then get in a bus and then come down here, do a recce and then go back up again. But
yeah,
we just hope they come past because
fingers crossed. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because I don't know why they think that's a good place for it. The infrastructure's just not here.
50 metres. And Hamble Lane.
If you've ever
like now,
driven down Hamble Lane.
Well, I went to school here, so I know. I've been here for years. I know exactly what it's like.
If you do it once, then you know.
It's literally 50 metres from a school.
Yeah, I know. It's mad, isn't it? And the infrastructure is just the roads, isn't it? That surface down there is awful. You know, are they going to do any building work on it or widen the roads, add an extra road?
They struggled off when they were, taking the big prefab homes over. They have to stop everything and do whatever. And that's hard enough.
Well, I went down on this, and obviously this doesn't take much space on the road. But literally, there was 2 vehicles unloading for a building site that's down there, and they're about the same sort of size they'd have. And I'm like, can't get past. You just can't get past.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You imagine having big quarry vehicles. It's not going to work, is it?
You've got 100 a day or something like that.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I'll move over there. All right, cheers.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. There you go. 150 kids apparently coming out to do this. They're absolutely fine with us set up a camera, which is fine. So yeah, between 10:30 and 11 they said. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think it's been quite an interesting little video. We're all pitched up here and ready and waiting. They're saying between 10:30 and 11, so we've still got nearly an hour to go.
The firm Cemex wants to use the old Hamble Airfield to extract essential building materials like sand and gravel for 7 years. It says the site can be worked without any significant adverse impacts, and when it restores the area, it will increase biodiversity. Councillors will make the decision of visiting the site today.
Any news on where they are?
Apparently they're at the roundabout up there like half an hour ago.
Come round there, haven't they? So, as you heard earlier, the reason why all these kids were lined up along the roadside was that there was a group of officials due to visit the airfield site today and vet the viability of the location to be turned into a quarry. But the protesters weren't exactly sure which way they were going to be coming from. This is why they'd set up protests here and nearer the main road. Throughout the time I was there, the teachers organising the protest were getting little tip-offs about where the officials were. But the information we kept getting was pretty spotty at best.
They've gone down the main roadway.
Of course they have.
So I don't know. We're basically going to wait out here for a little bit longer to see if they come back.
Okay.
If not, they've gone the other way.
If you want to, it's totally up to you. I've got a microphone as well. If anyone wants to do any bits to the camera, like a message to them, whatever.
Yeah. Let me check with the head, see what she's.
Yeah.
If that's all right.
No to the quarry! Save the Hamble School! No to the quarry! Save the Hamble School!
Yeah, basically, the reps, the student reps of the school are up at the other pen. So
you've got a second one of you. Is there one down there? Is there?
Yeah. So this is like basically we want to catch them on that And then as they came around here, so we've split year groups and stuff like that. So yeah, some of our like head students and stuff, they're the ones who are like giving interviews and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, if you wanted to get anything, but basically it's at the other pen, which is basically where
literally down the other end.
Hamble Airfield meets Satchel Lane. So.
Yeah, I saw the other sign earlier on.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay,
down there somewhere.
Well, I mean, if staff want to do anything as well, it's up to you. Totally up to you again, but.
The difficult thing is, because we're technically Hampshire County Council employees, I don't know how much interaction we're allowed. That's the bit that's really tricky. It affects us, but also they're our employers. So, tricky one.
Yeah, all right, cheers. So once we got that information, I decided to head down to the main road, towards the other protest site at the front of the school. Unfortunately, as I got down there, they were just packing away. However, I did manage to grab a quick interview with some of the kids. That was after they'd finished their interview with BBC.
Hiya. Are you okay?
Yeah, not bad.
I'm Chair of Governors.
Right,
so I believe you're looking for, you want some students to have a chat with?
Just basically sort of do some messages, because obviously the council haven't come past. It'd be quite nice to get a message of what they'd like to say to them, etc.
Yeah, okay, so we've got...
I'm not from any news. I run a YouTube channel, by the way. So,
that's fine. What YouTube channel is it?
It's called Urbex.
Okay.
I usually do abandoned places and stuff like that, but I do history as well.
Right.
So I was doing a history video on the airfield, and I thought it ties in perfectly.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I'm local anyway because I went to the school.
Okay,
so
did
for
I.
me, it's quite it's a good piece because I think it's stupid as well. The whole point of putting Quarry there's no infrastructure for it at all. There's no other roads in and out. It's ridiculous.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And the kids have been brilliant, actually. So we took them up to Downing Street on Thursday so they could deliver their protest, and we had a little tour.
Yeah. Did you get to speak to anyone then at all, or?
So Paul Holmes, the MP, so we've spoken to him and he's been really supportive.
Yeah.
And he was the one who actually got the kids in, and he took us on a tour of Downing Street and then took them to Parliament.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. And it's been amazing actually, because the kids, yes, they know what the adults are saying, but they've done their own research. They've got their own concerns.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good.
I'm Oscar, and so I'm a head student at Hamble School, and I think that the quarry will be a very, very, very bad thing for the school community and the local community as well. As someone that lives in Hamble, it will be detrimental to the lives of everyone that lives here and everyone that goes to school now and for years to come.
Obviously today we've organised a protest that the school has, and a number of students has come out to protest against this quarry in order for some people to maybe see it, but they actually drove past, which shows that they're not recognising the actual impact of the village that their decision has. And I think that it's important that people know who's it impacting, what the impact actually is, and how detrimental it is to our education and people in the village, their life.
It's also worth mentioning that it's not just affecting the school, it's also affecting everyone in Hamble. It's affecting the traffic, it's going to affect the doctors just down the road. And I've heard multiple people say this, you wouldn't build a school next to a quarry, so why would you build a quarry next to a school?
Feeding on from what the previous has said as well, this place is already a high pollutant area, meaning that if we have a quarry and if we have those HSV vehicles driving up and down the Hamble lane, there'll be an increase in pollution, an increase in cardiovascular diseases, and many of our students and our teachers that go here have asthma, and many have said that if this quarry were to be built and were to proceed, they would have to rethink where they work, and that means we will lose a significant amount of high quality teachers and students as well, and that will decrease the value of education and decrease the heart in the Hamble area.
Thank you. Can we get just one chant of what you've been chanting all day?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I guess get you to hold it in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
What was it again?
Stop Hamble Quarry.
Save the Hamble Quarry.
No, stop the quarry. Save the Hamble Quarry. 3, 2, 1. No to the quarry. Save the Hamble School.
Okay, right, I've just got back in. What a hectic day we've had. We've been out with the drone, we've been around Hamble and all around the area where they want to put the quarry. I'm actually losing my voice as well. It feels like such a long day. I think it's only about 11 o'clock. But anyway, that was pretty cool. Protest was awesome. Got some interviews. BBC were there as well. I wasn't expecting the BBC to be there. That really surprised me. I don't know, I just expected it to be a small little thing. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed the history, and please do share this around, because it is a really silly idea for them to put this quarry here and no one really wants it. So we need to share this video out as much as possible so we can get as much people looking at this topic and commenting on it and hopefully getting it stopped. But yeah, so lastly, just a huge thank you to all the people at Hamble School, all the kids, all the teachers. You were absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me film. But yeah, like I said, get this video out. Let's get people seeing it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!
Wrapping a rag around my face, I pull my hoodie on. This ain't no time for rookies, young. Got my octo camera on. So the wing can't be worried about no 5 or special ops. I keep my composure steady, thunder the follow go, cause I'm